When you talk about the confidence, obviously, I feel like nobody takes more criticism than Tom, and this team obviously has turned around during his tenure. Do you kind of feel that going forward, he's the same guy to lift you guys the rest of the way, that next level?
Is that a real question right now?
I mean, every time we turn on
You just asked me if I believe that if he's the right guy. Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Come on.
Few moments later.
A couple days after the Knicks had their best season this century, they just fired their head coach, Tom Thibodeau.
Yo, YouTube, what's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Q, back at y'all with another video, man. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Y'all know the vibes, man. Listen, man, we gotta talk about Tom Thibodeau, man. It seems to me like being an NBA coach nowadays has got to be one of the hardest jobs ever, because just like that, man, you could lose your job. Tom Thibodeau, man, just recently got released by the New York Knicks of his duties as head coach because he lost to the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. And, you know, the Indiana Pacers is kind of like that overachieving team this year that came out of nowhere, that nobody really expected much from, honestly. Myself, and including everybody else, did assume that the New York Knicks would be able to handle business against them and make it all the way to the NBA Finals. But unfortunately, they came up short this year. And with that being said, they let Tom Thibodeau go, and now they're on the search for a new head coach. But before I get to who I believe the New York Knicks are going to go after as their new head coach, I want to talk about Tom Thibodeau for just a second. We all know Tom Thibodeau is infamous for playing his star players heavy minutes. And a lot of times, if you watch the games, you can see that he's very heavily reliant on his stars. And I just seen a article on Bleacher Report like 20 minutes ago when I woke up, saying that the Tom Thibodeau firing wasn't really much of a surprise to the execs around the league. So this is definitely something, it seems to me, like the New York Knicks maybe told Tom Thibodeau, yo, listen, bro, if you don't make it to at least to the NBA Finals this year, bro, you're out of here. Because that's kind of what it seems to me like, man. That man was coaching for his job. You know, but that wasn't really the only surprising firing that we had this season. If you guys could remember, the Mike Brown firing kind of threw people off a little bit, but after they traded De'Aaron Fox, it started to make a lot more sense. I believe that the Sacramento Kings are moving towards a rebuild, and and I feel like they're gonna have Sabonis as kind of like that key piece for them. So yeah, man, that firing, it shocked a lot of people, including Eric Spoelstra, but hindsight 2020, it makes sense now because they're moving in a whole different direction. The Michael Malone firing, though, didn't really make much sense to me when it happened. I just didn't understand it. The man won a championship like 2 years ago, and then you're just going to fire him just because he's having a weird season. But they still ended up making it all the way to the playoffs, and they lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder in a Game 7. Yeah, whatever. But, yeah, man, let's dive into this Tom Thibodeau firing, and let's just see what really happened. Okay, so 5 likely reasons why the New York Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau. Let's get it, man. Despite winning 51 games, finishing third in the Eastern Conference, Tom Thibodeau is gone. The New York Knicks are relieving Tom Thibodeau of his duties as head coach. Sources tell ESPN. Tom Thibodeau led the New York Knicks to their first Eastern Finals in 25 years, made playoffs in 4 to 5 years, and led the Knicks to consecutive 50-plus win seasons for the first time since the 90s. It's kind of hard for me to give up on a coach like that, man. But, hey, the organization had its worst winning percentage in the NBA from 2001 to 2002 through its last season without Tom Thibodeau. And during his 5 years in New York, the Knicks won 56.5% of their games. That's crazy. Wow. Just watching the Knicks in general as an offense, sometimes it's a little difficult because they rely too heavily, I feel like, on Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, especially Jalen Brunson, because me and my boy was talking about this the other day. When you watch the Knicks offense a lot of times, it's a lot of Jalen Brunson just trying to do ISO and Jalen Brunson dribbling the air out of the basketball. And then there'll be like, he'll dribble the ball for like 17 seconds, right? And then 17 seconds go by. He'll try to either shoot the ball last minute or he'll try to pass it out to the corner or something like that. And it was a lot of just standing around and watching Jalen Brunson do Jalen Brunson things. And we know his numbers right now are kind of crazy. You know, he's putting up MVP-type stats, but these numbers, 26 points a game, 7.3 assists per game, these are all good numbers, yes. But if you watch the Knicks, man, it's too much Jalen Brunson isolation, not enough ball movement, and you have guys like Mikal Bridges on the team who, when he went to the Brooklyn Nets, he was the number one option on that team. You guys have OG Anunoby, you know what I mean? Karl Anthony Towns. They have pieces on this team that Josh Hart. I almost forgot about Josh Hart. They have pieces on the team to where there's no reason why Jalen Brunson should just be standing around and just be dribbling the air out of the basketball and trying to play ISO ball the damn near 70% of the time he's in the game. Just makes no sense, man. So I guess Tom Thibodeau's lack of creativity on offense played a role in him getting fired. That's what I'm seeing. I think we just talked about this, overburdening superstars. Yeah, man, it's just playing these guys 40-plus minutes every night. But, you know, Tom Thibodeau's known for that. But, you know, sometimes that doesn't work, man. You got to rely on the bench. Not developing a bench makes a lot of sense, too, man. When I think about the bench players for the New York Knicks, they didn't really start making an impact, really, until, like, the tail end of that Pacers series, which is weird because they have some decent bench players on the team, like guys like Miles McBride, Landry Shamet, DeLon Wright. I don't know who this Tyler Kolek guy is, so I'm not even going to mention his name. But but Miles McBride and Landry Shamet and DeLon Wright, these guys they can be very useful for you and very serviceable for you. You just have to use them the right way, and the rotations just have to make sense, man, for these guys to really make an impact. But Thibodeau, in order for them to really make an impact, though, my guy, you have to play them. You know, you didn't play them much until, like I said, the tail end of that Pacers series. Average defense now. I think we talked about this in my last video when it came to the New York Knicks' defense. I think I do believe that your two biggest superstars are your two biggest liabilities on defense, especially with Jalen Brunson's size. He doesn't have an ideal size to be a great defender, so I'm not going to put too much on him. But Karl Anthony Towns, man, Gilbert Arenas had a lot to say about Towns' defense. He said,
it's him. It's his physical makeup. Long legs, short torso, big ass feet. There's nothing he can do. He's built like a whole fucking bitch. He's built like a female. Like
Clip that. No, clip that.
Am I saying something wrong? Look, he's built like a girl.
No.
He has girl hips. He's like a full WNBA player. Nothing wrong with that. I'm sure
that he's just built funny. He has big ass feet, skinny ass legs, and a weird upper body. So that contributes to him being a bad defender. And I seen it with my own two eyes, man. There was too many times where Karl Anthony Towns would end up in a lot of foul trouble, and he would have to sit for the majority of the game, and it would kind of throw the New York Knicks' entire offense out of whack. And that's something that Karl Anthony Towns has definitely got to work on this offseason, man, if he's still on the New York Knicks, man, because I don't know if the New York Knicks are thinking about trading him. I'm seeing rumors about, Karl Anthony Towns could potentially be on the move. So we'll have to see what happens, man. But that's definitely something that Cat has to work on, man, for sure. His voice simply got stale. Yeah, in a sense, yeah, because there was a lot of instances where during the Pacers series, I seen Thibodeau like vividly upset with the team. And there were just certain moments in that game where I said certain moments in that series where it looked to me like the guys kind of quit on him a little bit. I know Jalen Brunson had a lot to say, had a lot of good things to say about him after the series was over, man. But that's just straight PR speech, bro. Straight up PR speech, man. And we did talk about the team having like an intense players only meeting, and yeah, it didn't really go that well. So, now who could potentially be the next head coach for the New York Knicks now that Tom Thibodeau is out the door? It's crazy to me. I didn't really mention this yet, but Tom Thibodeau is still going to get paid by these niggas, man. He's still going to be getting that $30 million contract. And I do believe that he's going to find another team. 4 out of his last 5 seasons with the New York Knicks, he had a winning record. So I'm actually expecting Tom Thibodeau to get back on his feet very, very soon, man. He'll find another job for sure. But who could be the next head coach for the New York Knicks, man? I think I heard somebody saying that I seen somewhere that they were interested in Ime Udoka, but I don't think Ime Udoka is leaving the Houston Rockets anytime soon. There's a lot of talent over there. If they can swing a trade for a big star player, they'll be fine. So I don't think Ime Udoka is going anywhere. One of the guys I think that the New York Knicks could definitely go after this offseason as a new head coach could potentially be a guy like Frank Vogel. We know Frank Vogel was the head coach of the Lakers when they won the bubble championship, and he has a lot of experience coaching good teams like the Indiana Pacers when Paul George and them boys was doing their thing back in the day. Another guy that they could potentially look at is Mike Malone. Mike Malone is a former champion, and he was in Denver for quite the while, and he had a hand in developing Joker and Murray and all those guys. So that could potentially be a coach that the New York Knicks could look at. I'm pretty sure they're going to try to get somebody with some experience under their belt because they weren't that far away from a championship last season, like this past season that just passed. So I don't think they're going to try to start all over again with an unexperienced head coach. I think they're going to try to get a guy that knows what they're doing, a guy that has a voice already, and a guy that has some credentials and a reputation of winning. So Mike Malone is a guy. Frank Vogel might be one of them guys. I want to say Mike Brown too, but I don't know Mike Brown to win to be like a winning coach in like the playoffs too much like that. I don't know what his playoff status is for real. But I don't think Mike Brown would be a bad hire because when they fired Mike Brown, everybody was kind of surprised. And the firing of Mike Brown, like I said, makes sense, hindsight 2020, for the Sacramento Kings because they're trash as fuck and they're trying to rebuild and they don't have De'Aaron Fox anymore. So I don't even think that after De'Aaron Fox got traded, that team would even be an ideal situation for Mike Brown, who's trying to probably win a championship. So, yeah, man, those are the 3 guys that I could see the New York Knicks hiring: Mike Brown, Frank Vogel, or Mike Malone, man. I think those are like the 3 guys that they might go after this offseason, but you never know, man. Could they swing a trade for a big superstar player? Now that they got rid of Tom Thibodeau, I could definitely see that happening. Guys like Kevin Durant are still out there. Guys like Giannis is still out there, so you never know. But yeah, man. Tom Thibodeau is out of here. I'm interested to see what the New York Knicks do next as far as the head coach. But we'll just have to see, man. Y'all let me know in the comments how y'all feel about Tom Thibodeau being relieved of his duties as the New York Knicks head coach. And do you think that it was a smart move, or do you think the New York Knicks are overreacting? Y'all let me know in the comments, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Y'all know the vibes, man. I'm out. Peace.